Well, good morning, everyone, and a blessed first day of Advent to you. We are just coming off of the 8 a.m. service where we heard just a contemplative message from Pastor Jeff about angels and how they are God's messengers of hope. Very, very intriguing. We also had the children's choir with us today and the bell choir, a full complement. It's Christmas season here at the church, and it couldn't be more joyous. Today, we are here at the small piano, as I like to call it, but affectionately known as the harpsichord, and we've got Dr. Peterman here with us today. Good morning, Dr. Peterman. Come on in.
Oh, well, thank you. Good to be here.
So we're here at the harpsichord. What is
Yeah.
this cute little thing here? It's
It's a thing we acquired in 2016. I made a deal with the fellow who, if he couldn't sell it, he would give it to us. And lo and behold, he couldn't sell it in time. So here it is. And
it's beautiful. I mean, it's
yeah,
always sitting up here. It's like almost art.
indeed, a lot of harpsichordists, and not only in making the harpsichord, but they also engage a painter to make art inside of the harpsichord. So yeah, you're exactly right.
And we've got a little inscription reading up here. Do you know how to pronounce that?
Sic transit gloria mundi. The V is definitely a U for mundi.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Worldly things are fleeting.
Worldly
So,
flames are fading. Okay, good.
worldly things are fleeting. Yeah, that's
Which is
hard.
so true.
Yeah.
So, this is not really a piano, and it's not really a harp either,
Yeah.
harpsichord. It's the strings are not pounded on like a piano. It's
Oh,
more of
yeah.
like they are plucked, kind of like a harp.
They're exactly you're exactly right. They are indeed plucked. So the piano is a percussion instrument. And a lot
Okay.
of people think it's a stringed instrument, and in a way it is, but because the hammers strike the strings in a hammer-like fashion, just like percussion instruments, we call that a percussion.
Okay,
And
I'm glad you explained it to me because I'm like percussion. All right,
yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
little bit of a musical
you
novice.
have to
I'm
get
glad you
really
can
deep
entertain
into
me.
the books to figure that one out. And actually, aside from just classifying all these as keyboard
Yeah.
instruments, this would indeed be more of a string instrument because the strings are plucked. And on a violin, you can pluck the strings.
Well,
So we'll just file this under strings, I suppose, if you
okay.
needed to be really specific.
Well, we here at the Interlude, we love to be specific.
Since when?
Since when? Exactly right.
Since when?
Well, can you play for us a little
Sure.
something? Because the opening piece this morning was just beautiful. It is harp-like, isn't it? I mean, doesn't it? It sounds kind of harp-like to me.
Sometimes there is what we call a buff stop or a lute stop,
Okay.
and that's it's little pieces of felt that go up against the strings and it damps them in a way. I don't know if we can get the cameras in to see this later on, but
Yeah, that would be my hope is that we can actually see the plucking action because
sure,
that's
yeah.
pretty
So
fascinating
this
for.
is a just a generic what we call an 8-foot sound.
Okay.
I tuned it yesterday so that everything is was going to hopefully sound well enough today.
Now, is the tuning process much like a piano, or
Yeah,
is it like kind of a
so in a piano, there's often three strings for one note.
okay?
That's how you can actually play a note on the piano and it be out of tune with itself.
Oh,
Because you
interesting.
have to have three strings.
Wow,
Yeah, I know.
this is getting complicated.
Some of the lower notes are just made up of one string. But here's what's called my tuning hammer.
Okay, but you got a whole toolkit there.
My
Oh my gosh,
tuning
yeah,
hammer
there you
there.
go.
I've got a harpsichord at home. Who doesn't?
Well, exactly.
And this is my tuning hammer for the one at home. It has a different type of tuning peg up there.
Okay.
So you have to have various tools in your arsenal.
Wow.
If you're
Uh,
going to own your own harpsichord, you
you
need to
have
be
to.
able to maintain it.
Now, this is not the only harpsichord that the church has. You're a bit of a
I need hobbies.
musical collector.
I need hobbies. Yeah.
There's an extra organ back there, extra harpsichord.
Who
Well,
doesn't have?
now what's with the extra harpsichord? Did we get that recently?
Yes, we got that maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago. A
Okay.
fellow in Mesa, he had asked me about a year ago if I could help him work on his harpsichord, and I said, sure, just tell me when, but he never invited me over.
Yeah.
And to a church. I don't know if I said church.
Yeah.
And then about a month ago, he said he didn't need any help anymore, just wanted to give it away.
I
So I
see.
thought, yeah, we'll take it, see what becomes of it. It's not an instrument like this,
No.
but it's a little project that I'm
Yeah.
working on, and it's how I get better at maintaining an instrument like this and one at my home, so when I can have a kind of a practice
Yeah, yeah.
harpsichord in the choir room.
Well, it's beautifully played and beautifully sound. So why don't you give us a little sample of what you got here?
So we can have, I think, upwards of 4 or 5 different settings. So again, this is my general 8-foot setting.
Okay.
And here's a softer, what we call an 8-foot setting. In a room like this, you can't even hear it without microphone.
Right. That's why we got this big one sitting here.
Yeah, harpsichords are definitely used were used in the Baroque time in small rooms or as part of an orchestra, rarely as a solo just for itself. Again, unless it
Yeah.
was in a small room.
All right, so we're gonna see if we can get a shot of the actual plucking
yeah.
action.
So these little devices here are called jacks.
Okay. So you're
Jacks.
gonna wait.
So I'm taking off the jack rail.
Take off the jack rail.
You don't want to play without this because
Do you want
otherwise.
me to hold the jack rail while
these,
you're?
no, I'll put it right
Okay.
here. Otherwise, all these jacks are going to go flying everywhere.
Oh my gosh! Look at that.
The jack rail helps them fall back down.
Oh, so it kind of pushes.
So
I see.
when you're tuning, sometimes I take the jack rail off, but even then, I usually have it on unless I need to work on these. So this is a
Go ahead. Well, I was gonna say, so when you hit a key, it shoots this thing up and plucks it.
That's right. Let's take this one right here.
Okay.
So that little string is plucking, and then this is called a plectrum.
Oh my goodness! Look at this.
Plural would be plectra. So this little teeny device there that plucks the string, and this is my damper, so it falls back down and mutes the string.
Okay, that was my next question. So how does it? So it doesn't play it again when it falls back down to place.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be challenging.
So this part of the jack, it enables it to not strike when it comes back down. That's a great observation.
So do you like when you are playing the keys? Do you hold them up so it'll kind of let it?
Just like a piano,
let it
yes, you're
sound.
going to physically hold down the keys as long as you
Okay,
want them to
right.
sound. Now, if you're ever listening to a recording and there's a harpsichord, because who doesn't love
Like I say,
harpsichord
and
music?
who doesn't have one at home?
You can tell if it's an electronic harpsichord because it won't have this falling back noise, because what comes up must go down. So
Right.
you can hear them falling down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they all just collapse. So the bigger the chord, the bigger the sound on their way down.
It's part of the beauty of the machine, of the instrument.
Now, a lot of times, let's say you're playing a hymn,
Yeah.
so it's just chords stacked upon one another. What I've noticed in learning the harpsichord, maintaining them, is that you more often than not want to play them in a rolled fashion. Let me put the jack rail.
Put the jack rail
Boys and
back on
girls,
so,
can you say jack rail?
so you
and
can
plectrum?
play it properly.
Yes. But the more vertical that you play, the harsher the sound. If you just play,
So it's like almost a half.
yeah. So every now and then you just want you want to break the chord.
Right.
It sounds a lot more sweet that way.
Yeah, I was caught up in the moment there.
Instead of-
beautiful.
That just sounds too forceful
Yeah.
and overly precise. So the harpsichord is a lot more fluid in a way. And because the sound dies away, I imagine that there's a lot more rubato,
Right.
which means stretching, giving, and taking in Baroque music than what it looks like on the page. It's often da 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 da, bunch of 16th
Right.
notes in the music.
Oh my goodness! Look at this.
So, excuse me.
Here, I'll hold this. So this is the.
That's just random music. But often there's a string of tiny black notes everywhere. But I really think that often they were taking as much liberty with the rhythms as possible in order to make your way down physically with
With your-
legato,
yeah, with your-
connecting the notes. Yeah, you really just need to stretch and pull. So just to reiterate some of the stops, we call these manuals, keyboards, and then the jack rail, the jack, the plectra, and then, I've got to play you my favorite
Okay.
sound real quick.
Okay.
This is the lute, or
The
you can
lute.
call it the buff stop.
All right.
So these little felt pieces right there are leaning against the string to partially mute the sound.
Wow.
This is my favorite one. Sounds pretty.
It sounds, it almost sounds kind of reminiscent of the guitar you were playing last week.
Yeah.
It's
A
really good.
lute, a mandolin,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. So that really makes it sound like a stringed instrument
Well,
that
this
we
is-
know guitar was.
Been more than fascinating. We need to continue this because there's
All
so
right.
much more of the harpsichord that we didn't know. I mean, there's this little beautiful little instrument thing in there. I don't even know what that is. Just
That is
decoration, I guess?
called not a flower, a rosette. That is called a
rosette.
rosette.
Okay.
Rosette.
Well, with the rosette, we will leave it at that. This has been the Interlude, guys, and you've learned everything you need to know about the harpsichord. If you're out for the 9:15, you guys are in for a beautiful treat here momentarily. So we will see you next time. This has been the Interlude. God bless you.